Morning, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now, I'm a little out of breath because I'm trying to rush. I got to go to work soon, and I want to work out, but I wanted to use my equipment, and I wanted to use the sled, which I don't have available at my work gym. Well, they have one, but it's not very good. Mine's better. So since mine's better, I had to get up a little bit earlier, scramble together to put this all together, eat breakfast, and I'm a little short on time, so I got to bang through this really quick. So let's pop into today's workout and let's get started. So for today's strength giant set, I'm going to be doing the back squat, but I've added those chains. Those chains are 45 pounds in total weight. The chains that are holding the drop down chains are 2.5 pounds each. And since they never decompress fully into the ground, that stays the same weight on the bar. So it's really adding 40 pounds from the bottom of the movement, and as I stand up, it gradually goes up to 40 pounds more than what's on the bar. As I'm going up in weight, I'm also going to be doing some sled movements, which is called a sled lap pull. Basically, I just explosively move the sled by using my lats and exploding violently backward. Then I'm going to drag it back doing an ox drag, and that weight's going to stay the same throughout the whole entire strength portion as I'm going up on the back squat. That's going to be the strength giant set for the day. And the plan is I'm going to be doing 3 reps until I get to a 3 rep max, which I have a specific number in mind. And since I have those chains, I can feel comfortable at the bottom of the lift where I could really focus more on my technique because it becomes significantly lighter at the bottom of the lift. So then as I make sure that I'm in the proper form at the bottom of the lift, you can see I kind of pause a little bit just to kind of make sure that everything is firing and then I'm in a good, strong, proper position. So then when I stand up, I know it's going to go up and it's going to get heavier. So I'm getting a good workout in that way. But I'm able to kind of make sure at the bottom of the lift that I'm doing everything properly so that as it gets heavier, I can at least make sure that I get to depth. So I'm going to be working up and going below parallel in the beginning when it's lighter, just to kind of make sure that everything is firing. And then once it gets heavy, then I could start going not so low or pausing at all. And just I'll know for a fact because of how it feels of where I'm supposed to be at the bottom of the lift, where it's at least a little bit below parallel. Because it's very difficult for somebody like myself that likes to low bar back squat. The bar likes to sit lower on my back. That's where I'm a lot more powerful. But because of that, it makes me lean forward more, which makes my hip bone prevent me from going down to depth. So in this case, I'm able to practice where I want to be by going below parallel, by moving my knees outward at the bottom of the lift to make sure that I'm achieving a really good low depth. And then when I get to my top sets, then I know exactly where I need to be because I've already landmarked it from doing all these reps. And another reason I'm using chains is because I'm focusing more on deadlift and I don't want to play around with my CNS system where it'll fatigue me too much on the next deadlift session. So the chains makes it a little bit easier on my central nervous system. But I'm still been having some trouble on the back squat because my knee, my left hip socket, and my left groin has kind of been giving me issues, which I'm going to explain why that is later in the video as to why I'm doing it. And again, the chains just make it a whole lot easier on those joints so that I'm able to lift the weight that I want to lift and I'm not struggling too much at the bottom of the lift because it's too heavy. And then I end up injuring it more or throwing myself more out of whack. So it all makes sense. Trust me, this is all science-based. Now, this is going to be my top set for the day. So it's going to be 360 pounds on the bar plus those drop-down chains. Well, including the drop-down chains, it's 360 pounds on the bar. And then the drop-down chains that will drop it completely into the ground will make it 400 pounds total. And I just wanted to make sure that I hit 3 reps. Because typically on the set before, I might only do 1 rep just to make sure that I'm okay for my top set. But today wasn't about that. Today was destroying my legs by doing the sled and then making sure that I'm doing 3 reps all the way up. And the last one got a little bit sticky, but it was still doable and it definitely felt awesome. But the heat and all of that was definitely playing a role. Alrighty, so I'm exhausted. The sled, the reps, the heat, it was really getting to me. Been dealing with a knee issue. Had this knee issue since I played sports in high school, used to run a lot, and I just totally took off the cartilage off my inner knee. So the patella wants to slide to the left. So I have to wear this patella protector to make sure that it doesn't slip. But because of that, when I wear like this kind of stuff, like my left inner groin and the left socket like feels like it gets out of place when I try to add supportive gear. So sometimes I have to pick between my knee and my hip. So yeah. But at least I could still squat, and I could still squat like to a heavy amount. I know some people, this is nothing to them, but for me, this is really good for right now. And I'm happy that I can at least get out here and back squat and still use my knees and use my hips. So now we'll complete the workout by doing some heavier sled work. So let's pop into that right now. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and just because of the heat and how much my legs were already tired, I just decided just to kind of focus on this. So I'm basically going to overload the ox sled drag, put my arms out forward like Superman, and then just walk my legs forward, which really blows up my quads and works that shoulder mobility as well. And I know I said my sled was a lot better than the one at work, but my sled was giving me trouble today. Normally 400 pounds doesn't feel this heavy, but today it did. It could be just the fatigue and the heat and all of that, but the sled definitely was not cooperating with me, which made it a whole lot harder. So it took me a while to kind of, get going. But once I did and I went off camera, I did just fine. And 400 pounds went, and I got a really solid leg workout as a result. Now, I just moved on to the accessory giant set because I was just running out of time, had to get to work, and the heat was killing me. So I just did 3 rounds of supinated bicep curls with a very light weight, and then did some hitchhikers, which, I always do hitchhikers. But in case you don't know and you're new to the channel, I do this almost every workout. Some kind of face pull for shoulder health. And then my legs were tired, but I really felt like I needed to hammer my glutes. So I was doing some Bulgarian split squats, which this is awesome to do because it really focuses on the quad, which I like to hit on leg day, but it also works the glute as well when you isolate it like this. And that was the total workout today, and I was glad to be done with it. All right, so that's going to do it for today's workout. And I'm exhausted. It was way too hot out here. It was overcast, but it still felt really terrible. But I survived, and I'm grateful for that. Really appreciate everybody stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thanks.